This podcast is intended for mature audiences. Any likeness, real or fictional, is intended in a fictional way. Warm sun, golden sands, and the mistakable sounds of metal twisting into scrap. Don't you just love the beach? When Captain Tribble said we were getting an all-expenses paid trip to Japan, I didn't realize it was a beach resort. Sometimes you have to watch your step, though. There's these little guys that get all underfoot sometimes. Kinda gross. Well, I'm gonna grab me a tropical drink as we take a stroll up here to check out these big cool guns. Oh man, look at that. A bunch of those little ankle biters are biting Merlin. Damn shame. Kinda like that twitchy little guy.
The Multiverse Collective.
I think Ace is going to freak out a little bit. He's absolutely going to grab that Zero and like rip the body from the head and see if Radiant can grab the head to at least like give what is left of Merlin like a soldier's burial.
Radiant. So Radiant is a very small, like sort of, as much as the Divine is a paladin, Radiant is a cleric. So he's much smaller. He runs over. He's got a sword and like a handgun, and he goes, "I'll do what I can, but I can't make any promises."
Maybe just bring him back to the ship. I don't know. This is a lot for me right now.
I think Ace would take the risk shaken.
Yeah, that tracks.
I think that's the negative to your.
I think that absolutely tracks.
Cordelia, you see that Ace is basically off his post at this point.
Oh god, somebody's gotta fucking cover that, huh? I think Cordelia is gonna turn to her crew and ask them very pointedly if they think we can get over there to cover Ace's post, while also reloading.
Yeah, your driver goes, I'll do what I can to get over there. And who's your loader? Anton. Goes, I'm already working the reload. It'll just be a minute.
All right. And Cordelia is going to pilot it over to Ace's post because something's clearly going on. And I don't think Cordelia had a very good sight line on what exactly went down with Merlin. But she knows that Ace wouldn't leave his position for no reason.
Go ahead and let's do a weather the storm plus defy.
Sweet. Something that I might be good at.
And if you succeed it, then you'll be reloaded and everything as well.
Oh my god. Another 7. Even with my +2.
Okay, well, I mean, it's a mixed success. So I'll give you the choice of either you can be reloaded or you can get to the location.
No, we're going to get to the location. I think reloading is secondary. Okay. We can use the Foxcatcher itself as a battering ram if need be. It's just our...
Yeah, don't you have secondary guns, or did you not take those?
Yeah, we have secondary guns. They come standard, but they're like anti-personnel weapons instead of something that would be effective against an Astir.
Okay, perfect. So you aren't totally defenseless. You can still take down soft targets. We're on to Rex now. Rex, you see that things have gone a little bit wonky with the positioning of your teammates. And even Wreckage is trying to work to fill the gaps. And he's doing a pretty good job of it.
I mean, he is 4 stories tall. There's not a lot of space he can't fill.
I'm gonna radio to Ace and go, mate, it's not the time for you to stop messing up everybody else's strategy. Merlin knew what he was doing. You need to get back over there and cover your station.
All right. Yeah, you're right.
We can mourn the dead when we finish this. And then I'm going to look at the path that Ace found earlier. And I'm going to... Is it like covered by Astirs or...
I mean, you guys have definitely been taking out a lot of the soldiers, and there's still quite a few of the Zeros around, but I mean, things are starting to soften up a little bit.
Okay.
There's still some work that needs to be done, but it's definitely making progress.
And can I see the gun tower that we need to get to at the top?
Oh yeah, you can see them as soon as you got there. They're giant fucking fortified bunkers.
I can see the barrel of the gun outside the bunker counter, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I'm gonna basically jump up the side of this ridge, and I'm gonna stick my shield straight in front of the barrel of the gun, so if they start taking shots, it's not going to affect anybody on the beach.
Okay, so these guns, they haven't fired yet, just because they don't have sight lines to any of the ships, which was sort of the point of the fog of war. But as you get up there, you do start getting swarmed from behind from the other, like, missile launchers and zeros and everything. If you want to make it up there correctly, let's do a +5 weather the storm.
I got a 4.
A 4. All right, go ahead and mark a spotlight. And I'll say it's just too much. You're not able to get up there like you wanted to do. Zeros get in your way, and you can work to take them down, but they're just you haven't got far enough along to actually get to these bunkers yet. Ace, you sort of have this moment of clarity, I guess, after this situation.
All right. I think Ace is going to radio to the group and be like, all right, I'm going to see if I can get sneaky with it. And so what I'm going to do, I am going to, as the Marines like get up, I'm going to turn on my chameleon cloak subsystem. So I have become invisible, and I'm going to pop down into the brush and rematerialize one of my hands into the Titan bow, which, if it was visible, it would just look like this gigantic wooden longbow that is basically the entire arm of Hyperion. And Hyperion, and I'm gonna pull basically life force energy to look like an arrow, and from the bush I'm just gonna like pull back, and I'm gonna fire, and I'm gonna see if I can try and skewer like a good, I don't know, 5 or 6 zeros with this hidden attack.
All right. Yeah, it'll be exchange blows for now. And
all right, I'm gonna roll that with Clash, which is a +2. That's gonna be, God bless it. That's gonna be a it's gonna be a 5, even with a +2.
All right, go ahead and mark your spotlight.
Yep.
So this puts us in an interesting situation, because basically this is the first time you've actually gone invisible in a combat situation. And it's also kind of hard to hide in a bush on a beach. So while you do manage to hide, you're not exactly as stealthy as you think you are. So I will say you do take down some of the zeros. However, you do take a risk, which would have to be revealed, as is your chameleon cloak's option, putting you now at 3 dangers.
Yes.
So
I would imagine that, like, essentially with the damage that I've taken, as well as just like the overuse of these systems, I would imagine that Hyperion at this point is getting pretty overheated. I would imagine basically as this arrow is fired, Hyperion comes out of hiding, and I would imagine that basically the entire enemy force is alerted to what just happened.
Mm-hmm. The enemies definitely see you, and you're basically going to get a squad of zeros that are going to attempt to do you like they did to Merlin.
Sounds about right.
So I'm going to need you to make a bite the dust roll +5.
All right. You know what? This is a good time to use it. I'm going to use regrowth.
I was hoping you would.
So I'm going to clear this this first peril.
The damage, yep.
Yeah, and so what this is going to look like is, as these zeros come through, I think Ace is just going to, he has like a moment of peace before almost instinctively Hyperion's hands turn into this like giant wooden shield, and are basically able to like cover up the damage so that the zeros aren't able to like get right in there.
All right. That works for me.
And I think as Ace is being like swarmed by these zeros in the radio, he's going to be like, "Hey, Rex, Roger, little help over here."
Affirmative. Rex is just gonna absolutely beeline for Ace. Like he's gonna do it without giving a fuck whether he gets damaged. He's gonna make sure he is there to back up who he needs to back up.
I say you could do this as either an exchange blows if you want to directly take down these targets, or you could help or hinder and give him advantage or disadvantage on the next roll.
I feel like help or hinder is probably the way to go.
I feel like you guys have definitely spent meaningful time together. They haven't done it normally, and they are part of one of your hooks, so it'll be +2 to roll this.
So, my question to you is, what happens if I get below a 7?
I would say if you get below a 7, you get the opposite of what you were trying to do, which means you would give him a disadvantage on what he was trying to do.
Yeah, so
on whatever he's doing next.
So on a 7 to 9, it's a disadvantage. So,
well,
so what would a 5
you become as entangled. It doesn't specify below 7. I would say below a 7. So since it's a help action, you give disadvantage.
Okay,
you're hindering.
I'm sorry, I got a 5.
So I imagine Rex is just like, "Yeah, I got you," and he's gonna like push off this ridge and just like shoot over. I imagine Ace is gonna like hold up an arm. I imagine Rex is going too fast. He grabs the arm and just pulls it right off. And so like Rex lands in like this cool like superhero pose on the other side of the beachhead, and he's just like, "Yeah," and then he looks down and it's just like an arm. Ace is still like being overrun by zeros.
Yeah, so Cordelia, you see a lot of crazy shit going down with your team.
"Oh, these fucking clown babies," she's gonna mumble to herself under her breath as she watches Rex rip the arm off. I think she knows that the Foxcatcher isn't necessarily the best weapon for dealing with these zeros, but I think she does know that she can take a lot of fire because it's incredibly well armored. So her plan is going to be to draw fire away from Rex and Ace and Roger and to the Foxcatcher itself. So, how are we going to do this?
I mean, you could do it as another help.
Yeah, I think as a help action. I'm trying to feel out how I can best draw as much zero attention as possible onto the Foxcatcher.
I mean, these things are pretty primal and feral. I feel like just making yourself like more known.
Honk the horn.
I think she's gonna fire her guns off, just into the air, not at anything in particular, but an attempt to create like a huge, loud distraction.
Yeah, and I definitely think you get the same 2 bonuses because they're one of your hooks and also meaningful time. So that'd be a 2d6 + 2.
All right. Fuck.
God damn.
It's Snake Eyes. I rolled 2 1s.
So what? I get hit with the
Yeah, I guess.
with the covering fire?
I guess.
It's either that or you can take your spotlight.
I haven't rolled. Yeah, I'm fucking.
Or I think. Oh, you don't have overheat options, do you?
Oh no, I don't. Oh god. Oh, this is so bad.
It was going so well.
I haven't rolled a single full success today. Oh shit.
So you make these shots, and people are a little bit, confused as to what exactly is going on inside your Ardent.
I'm gonna get fired. I'm gonna get dishonorably discharged.
I think you'll take the peril or the risk disorganized.
Yeah, that tracks. That tracks.
And you guys hear over the radio, "Good God, amateurs, do I gotta deal everything around here?" And Wreckage just absolutely comes in, and he does not fuck up.
At least one of us doesn't fuck up.
Like, he goes to punch, and all of these zeros that are like attacking your shield just get ground into bits. And then he turns, and like the Vulcan cannon takes down more things. And he holds out a hand to Hyperion and goes, "Come on, kid, back on your feet. Let's get out of here."
Ace tries to hold up the lack of arm because that's his dominant one, and he's what? Wait a second.
Okay, with this, I just thought of a thing that I wanted to do, and this is a great way to do it. I will give you the opportunity to clear your remaining dangers if you take a burden. And that burden is going to be called Phantom Limb.
Yeah.
And
Give me
that'll
that.
be that's just something I thought of we can deal with later.
Sick.
So burdens, just for listeners, they don't affect things now. They're going to be a problem later. So basically, it's like you go back to full health, but after the battle, we're going to have some shit to deal with.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So with Rex back on his feet, Wreckage gives you guys some covering fire opportunities. Or covering fire opportunity to, get yourself back together a little bit before you make this final push. Rex, what are you doing with this arm that you're holding?
I'm gonna... He's sort of still got it in his hand like this. I'm assuming it's like, like gripped around the forearm sort of way. And he's just like...
It's the Predator high five, but there's nobody else on the other side.
There, he's just like... looking at it in sort of stunned silence. And then he's gonna sort of use it as like a marking post for the soldiers to follow which route to go. So he's just gonna
I just imagine you like bend it so that it's like pointing, and then you just like jam it into the ground.
I'm going to start making my way up to start sort of clearing the point, so the soldiers have a bit of an easier time.
As you start making your way up there, something strange happens. All of the zeros and all of the soldiers start to sort of clear out a little bit. Like, you're not taking them out, they're leaving. And over the ridge behind the cannons, a squad of 5 large Asters walks over. These Asters, they are stylized in the Japanese way of the samurai.
Rex is just gonna ready himself, get his sword and shield into like a fighting position and go, "Oh, I like these odds."
The zeros and the soldiers sort of, you realize after a moment that they have made a circle.
Oh, sick.
The circle has you 3 and Wreckage on one side and the 5 on the other.
Rex is just gonna taunt them and do the bring it on sort of shit.
The moment that Cordelia sees him do that, she is going to fire off the lancing stave at probably one of them on the end. I don't know how exactly they're positioned, but she's just going to try to hit one. She's tired of being overambitious and fucking everything up.
Go ahead and exchange blows. Oh no.
It's fixed.
You could use your spotlight here if you wanted to. At any point.
I know.
I feel like she's got real big plans for this spotlight, and I'm really interested.
I know.
I do, and yet I'm also concerned that it's going to be completely irrelevant and blow up in my face. We'll roll for exchange blows for now. 11.
Hey, there we
11.
go.
All right. So you apply a risk to one of these guys. They, unlike the zeros, which are sort of your basic enemies, these guys do in fact have risk counters. So you sort of hit the 1 on the right side, and an 11. Yeah. So okay, or either your opponent takes a risk, or you could also take a risk and put them in peril, which would allow somebody else to strike decisively.
Oh yeah, I'll take a risk and put them in peril. I want to give an opening.
Okay. What risk would you like to take?
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't think about that.
Ooh, I have an idea.
What's your idea?
My idea is that it's just like this big fucking missile, and it's so powerful that it like leaves the Foxcatcher unbalanced.
Yeah, I think there's a huge amount of recoil.
Okay. You weren't totally reset from your reload.
Yeah.
It was sort of a quick fire that Anton loaded in for you, and it wasn't necessarily the best round to use in this situation. But it definitely worked, and your target is in fact staggered. Ace or Rex, one of you could do something?
I think Ace, this whole time, he's been basically like just kind of like on the ground, like trying to push himself up. But as he pushes himself up back to his feet, he's gonna hit his two fists together, channel his natural magic and connection to the weave, as he says his like Astir launch command of Adase Kogisti. He is going to essentially release a fucking beam of green energy from his chest, and I'm going to use weave magic.
Hell yeah. I was hoping one of you would eventually.
All right, so this is 2d6 plus channel, and that's going to be, let's fucking go. That's a natural 12.
Hell yes. All right. So yeah, you managed to channel the power exactly the way you wanted to. So which one are you targeting? You're targeting the one that had the peril on it?
I'm going to target one of the unhurt ones.
Okay. With that, I'll say that you can apply another peril.
All right. I imagine that this just like blows a hole right through the torso of this Astir.
Yeah, it doesn't go down, but it's definitely pretty severely wounded. I wouldn't say it blows a hole through it, but you definitely knock off a lot of armor in the chest. These 5 Astir that you're looking at, they slowly draw their swords, they hold them up, and they all charge. And Rex, roll me a d6, just one. 1. All right. So as they're charging, you feel the thud of wreckage next to you, and his guns go to work. He's shooting. He does manage to take down one of the ones with the peril before they're able to get to you. Since the beam of energy hurt the other one, they are going to target Ace. So I need Ace to roll a Weather the Storm.
Plus Defy. Well, that's a 5.
All right. So go ahead and mark your spotlight.
Yep.
And they do. You do take yet more damage. Hyperion isn't looking good.
No.
But that'll be one more risk of damage. Have you okay, you did overheat. You're still overheating technically.
Okay.
You could spend your heat condensers to get rid of that if you wanted to, but you wouldn't be able to use regrowth. All right.
Well, I already used regrowth.
Right. That's what I'm saying is you couldn't use it.
I see.
But you could get your overheat tick back if you use your heat condensers.
You know what? I am going to do that.
Okay.
I think as Ace is like knocked to the ground by one of these Astirs, there's just like almost a cloud of smoke that starts to appear around Ace, and this is a helpful tool that I'm going to use later.
All right, Rex, these guys are now finally within sword distance.
Okay. I'm gonna say to Roger and Ace over the comms, how many of these guys do you think you could take?
I got something up my sleeve. Leave one for me.
1. What about you, Roger?
As many as you need me to, boss.
I am gonna use also weave magic, because as we've discovered, portals are the magic I use. So I am going to try and separate all of us so we can take them on in a more secluded amount. So I'm going to try and leave one for put Ace and one of them in one location, me and 2 of them in another location, and Wreckage and one of them in a third location.
All right. So it'll be plus channel.
That is a 14.
Holy shit.
So that's what, 11 plus 3? Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you do exactly how you wanted to do it. It's probably, I would imagine, just like still on the beach, just like separated out a little bit more.
And then, have these guys got shields?
They don't. No, they don't.
I'm going to put my shield on my back as a will of good gesture and just be like, bring it on, you fuckers.
These samurai mechs, like, obviously they don't have facial expressions, but you can tell, oh yeah, this is going to be good. Which puts us in an interesting position because I imagine everybody's separated now, which means that, Cordelia, you have a pretty clear path to these cannons now.
Yes. Yeah, I think Cordelia is going to thank Rex over the comms as professionally as she can and make her way to these gun towers. Her plan is to do a little bunker busting, and she's going to have Anton load up their highest tier of Bane reserves into the cannon so that she can take each of these out with one shot and strike decisively.
Okay, go for it.
I'm scared. 12.
So yeah, you roll this absolute war machine of a Ardent you have up this hill. The Marines are following you as well. They branch off to another set, and you sort of roll up, exactly like you said. This cannon goes off. You obliterate this bunker in front of you, and you sort of check the Marines. They're in another bunker. They're setting up their transponder. You see them all leave, and from the fog, one of the shells from the Tyson absolutely obliterates the other one.
Exquisite.
All right, so we're gonna go to Ace. How are you handling your samurai?
All right, so this cloud of smoke that the heat condensers use, or the heat condensers produced, Ace is going to expend 1 power to re-allow me to use the chameleon cloak, which there's this like burst of green energy as the chameleon cloak activates. So in this brief second that Ace and this other Astir are separated through space, there's this flash of green light, and Ace is nowhere to be found. What Ace is going to do is sneak over behind, and essentially with his one good arm, he's going to materialize his force knife and try to slit this Astir's throat.
Okay. Yeah, as you're sneaking up on him, you see the samurai. He's sort of in a circling pose, just waiting for you to show yourself. Go ahead and roll your... do you want to make this a strike decisively?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Or I guess, Rex, when you separated them out, who'd you give the other damaged one to?
I gave it to Ace.
Okay, so this is the one that's already... So yeah, you definitely can do a strike decisively, because he's already got 1 peril on him.
That is going to be 11.
All right. Yeah, so you... how do you take this thing out from a sneaky...
So, I imagine that I use this brief invisibility to get behind him. I pull this knife up to the throat, and I immediately go... I will even take a risk, because this is going to be fucking cool. I will reveal myself, and I'm essentially going to like whisper into the Astir's ear and just go, "Banzai," and...
So wait, you flash him and then you slit his throat after sensually whispering bonsai in his ear?
Yes. That's exactly how it goes down.
Yeah, sounds about right.
All right. Ace thought this was the coolest fucking thing in the world.
I mean, objectively, it was pretty cool. Especially for only having 1 arm.
Yes.
Rex, you've got these 2 in front of you. They're in a fighting pose. I'm sure you're in your element. How are you gonna...
Yeah, I am gonna attempt to use my insight of fighting to basically like deflect blows from one into the other and have them help me take each other out.
Oh, Would that be a weather the storm, do you think? Or would you just want to make that an exchange blows?
I'll say exchange blows because I feel like...
I mean, yeah, that's sort of like the basic combat, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm still swinging my sword at them, but I'm trying to basically just deflect attacks into the other. Yeah. I got a 5.
Ooh, all right. Well, there's a spotlight.
And I'll use my resistance charm as well.
Okay, so they were going to give you a peril, so you're still going to get a risk.
Yeah.
So you'll get a risk. How do you think this risk manifests?
Maybe.
You think Rex is getting a little bit maybe too cocky?
Yeah, maybe a bit like he's getting a bit overwhelmed. He thought that he could take 2 in this Astir that he's never fought any other proper Astirs in. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he's probably just being cocky as fuck, and that's what it is.
So maybe just do like a shaken, sort of generic, like confident shaken. Cordelia, you see, once these first 2 cannons are down, the fog begins to drop from your ships, and once they have line of sight, their cannons just sort of start clearing the beach. They're not going to shoot at the samurais because they don't have a clean line of sight with everybody fighting around them. But you're just sort of standing there looking out, and all these zeros are kind of being taken out, and you sort of get this sense of, hey, whatever happens from now, at the very least, you accomplish your mission.
Yeah, it's a great, satisfying feeling. But I did also I just watched Ace obviously take out his opposing Samurai Astir, but it looks to me like Rex is perhaps getting a little overwhelmed, and I can't leave my guys in the dust like that just to pat myself on the back. However much I would like to go immediately run to Commander Triple and tell him that I've been a good girl. I think Cordelia is going to turn her guns on not Rex necessarily, but Rex's vicinity, to provide an other threat for the Samurai Astirs that he's facing, to potentially, hopefully, draw one off of him so that he stands a chance.
So you just want to do like a help action
help action.
Maybe give him an advantage on the next roll?
Yes, that would be ideal, and hopefully draw some attention away from him so he has a chance to catch his breath and maybe clear a risk.
Okay, he hasn't helped you yet, so it'll still just be +2.
9.
All right. So, as above, but you become tangled in the... Okay, so you do help. You do give an advantage. However, you're sort of drawing attention from some of the remaining zeros in the area. Actually, no, I think what happens is your advantage is you hit one of them. You don't... Not enough to deal damage, but enough to be a distraction. And it breaks off and starts to run at you.
Yeah, that was unfortunately as far as Cordelia had thought through her plan.
And just, you do see wreckage. He basically punched his and ground it into dust.
Yeah, absolutely. That absolutely tracks for him. I'm so glad that he's the one that we picked to come along with us.
Ace, you don't have a target either at the moment.
All right. I am going to see if I can distract this Samurai Astir heading for Cordelia.
Okay.
I am going to go for a... I'll try to do an exchange blows.
Yeah, I feel like you're definitely within range to get to it.
Yeah, I think Ace is just going to back on the comms, and he's going to be like, this Astir's not dead yet. Well, he might be. That was 3.
You rolled a 3. Oh, all right.
Ooh,
what?
Okay, you know what?
Are you gonna overheat the reroll?
I filled up my spotlight with that.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to clear it to give me an additional move from my playbook, that
Absolutely.
being Woodland Whispers. I feel like this is a good time for it. When the world is suffering, it whispers to you. You know where it is hurting and who is to blame.
Ooh, all right. How are you going to use this? The spotlight's yours.
All right, I think Okay, as Ace, like, this damaged Astir just once again courageously jumps up, gets back in the fight. This Samurai Astir immediately sees it coming and just sticks out the sword and basically skewers Ace right through the chest of this, like, the heart drive. But I think as this happens, it glows green, like starting from the heart drive and emanating out. And I think with this, Ace has a moment of peace. Back when he was probably 11 or 12 in the Appalachian woods hunting with his dad. And they are running away from a big 12-point buck. This was Ace's, like, one of Ace's first major hunts. They're kind of out in the middle of nowhere when usually they're, you know, maybe a little bit closer to civilization. But this one, Ace's dad thought he was old enough to you know, kind of go out in the middle of the woods and hunt with the big boys. And he, you know, of course, was using a longbow to hunt because rifles are not how real hunting should be done in this wilderness. It should be done like the old days. And Ace remembers trying to hit this longbow, or hit this arrow, was going for the neck, but hits center mass. This buck, instead of running away, charges right towards Ace. And Ace, you know, Ace's dad kind of rolls out of the way, and Ace is basically right in the path. But he remembers what his dad said, that being, you can be at the gates of hell, but there's always a way back. And I think those last words echo in Ace's head. There's always a way back. There's always a way back, as he's brought back to this scene. And I think with this, he immediately just has a, like, hyper awareness of everything that is going on this beach, but not necessarily the soldiers, but the flora, the fauna. It's calling to him. And so I imagine Ace is able to blast this Astir, basically disarm this Astir with this sword, skewered through this heart drive, as some of the fauna come up and wrap around the Astir's leg, tripping it.
Very nice. Yeah, it was not expecting that, and it basically falls apart. You obliterate this thing. Rex, you have this one undamaged, still perfectly good samurai in front of you.
I am going to attempt to at least put it in some peril, you know, do enough damage where it's like one blow away.
And
so I'm going to exchange blows.
You do, you have been helped. So you roll a third die, take the higher two.
Let's hope I get higher than a 4 on this. How did I roll the same number twice? I got -1. I got 2.
All right.
But that makes me fill my spotlight.
Oh, fuck yes. Do it up.
So I'm going to take a move from my playbook. I'm not going to use it right now, but I'm going to use it as like a story point. So I'm going to take Ascension. So as I'm fighting this Samurai Astir and clearly fucking losing, Rex starts getting reckless with his moves, and I feel like he has in one of these moments, this Samurai Astir is just swinging down. You know, it's going to be irreparable damage to the divine at this moment in time, and I feel like Rex has like a moment out of time and space where he sees this unknown entity that he's seen all like a year or two ago when he was being lazy in work, and he sort of realizes the way for him to sort of communicate with this entity is to be as reckless as he can be. And you know, you see he comes back into the divine and you see the red light sort of start pulsating, and as the sword comes down, he grabs it by the blade, and he's going to say, "May death bring you peace," and he's just going to punch straight through the heart drive of this Astir. And then he's just going to, like, when he says, "May death bring you peace," you see just this overwhelming red light come from everywhere on the divine, and he's just sort of, you like, from where people are, I don't think they can, maybe Cordelia could see, but you can see that he has like the pilot in his hand, and he just squashes this guy and throws him on the floor, and then Rex will just like let out like this guttural scream, like you can hear, like, it's not even Rex's voice, you can hear it's just like a mechanical roar.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, and Rex, you hear in your head, "Good job, you're finally figuring it out."
And Rex is just going to be like, "You could have gave me some hints sometime sooner."
You don't hear anything else back. Yeah, so that's the last of these samurai that have been dealt with, and the beach is pretty well cleared. The other Ardents have been hard at work while you guys have been fighting, setting up the fortifications on the beach for them to be able to hold it as well. Everybody sort of calls you back to these fortifications back behind the walls. And Cordelia, you get a message over the radio. It's like, "Lieutenant Cunningham, stand by for new orders."
Yes, sir.
And that's where we end this one.